There we go. I guess that doesn't want to work. Okay. What's going on, guys? It's your boy, the Adam Westberg and Adrian Westberg vibes here, back with another video. Now, I said I was going to stop, but I just wanted to try this out on my computer to see if I could actually record, and if I could, there would be further videos in the near future. And so, it's Monday, so you know what that means.
Okay.
It's Monday, so you know what that means. It's going to be a horror reaction video by none other than... Hold on. Mort. This is 4 True Home Alone Horror Stories Animated. And we have none other than my amazing fiance reacting to this with us. Hello, babe. Say something. Babe. Hello?
Hello?
Introduce yourself.
Okay, you're back now.
Reacting to this video with us is my fiance, Adrian. Babe. Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hey, say something.
Testing? Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I can now.
Alright. Everybody...
Kind of went in and out.
Hold on. Alright. Everybody, this is my amazing fiance. We are going to be reacting to this together. Babe, say hi.
Hi.
If you want to, tell your fans a little bit about yourself and about your YouTube channel or Instagram and what you do.
Okay. I...
Talk a little louder.
Okay. I'm Adrian. I work at a candle company and make candles out of beer bottles and wine bottles. And I also do YouTube and
Now,
singing occasionally.
everybody, the reason why, if you can barely hear him, it's because he's new to the whole talking on YouTube thing. If you see his videos or whatever on YouTube, he never talks. Do you?
I do when I do my Minecraft ones.
He may talk, but he doesn't show his face. Right.
Why do you think my other is Casper?
Shh. You rat bastard. Alright, everybody, let's get into this reaction on the 1, 2, 3.
I'm a single dad to a wonderful daughter, who's been the light of my life from the very moment she was born. It would be an understatement to say things weren't easy after her mother passed, but we made it through the grief together, and that had strengthened our family bond. My daughter had since grown and flown the nest, and we've always had a great relationship. But when she was growing up, I found myself gripped by fear that I'd end up losing her too. Sometimes that terror of loneliness was just background noise, something I managed to ignore by busying myself. Other times it was overwhelming, and I'd become so overly cautious and protective of her that sometimes I feel like I failed her as a father. She missed out on a few field trips, a handful of her friends' birthday parties, and a whole lot of play dates, all because I was just too nervous to leave her alone in a place that I wasn't familiar with. It got to the point where, around the time of her 13th birthday, I realized that I'd never left her home alone before. Even when it came to short grocery store runs, I'd insist that she'd hit pause on whatever she was doing to join me on whatever errand I was running. That worked when she was younger, but then the older she got, the more she appeared to resent being attached to my hip. The whole thing culminated in a small argument one day, when she was insistent on me leaving her at home so she could finish off some homework while she was still feeling studious. My words, not hers, by the way. I won the argument, and she had a face like thunder during the ride to the grocery store, but I started to wonder if I should be relaxing my policies as she got older. A few months later, after a long period of reflection, I walked into her room and told her that I was making a quick run to Target to pick up a few things. She groaned, slumped off her chair, and moved to put her shoes on. Then, with theatrical timing, I told her that I would be going alone. She smiled, the kind of smile that brings a lot of joy as a parent. It was a smile that marked a milestone in both of our lives. She was growing up, and
damn it,
it was time to start giving her some space. I know it might sound pretty dumb, but I actually got a little emotional while climbing into the driver's seat and edging out of our driveway. The whole kids growing up so fast thing is for sure overused, but it's overused because it's true. By the time I got to Target, I'd fought back all the tears, and after repeatedly telling myself, everything is going to be fine, I actually began to feel a semblance of calm. Then, as I'm walking up and down the aisles, picking up odds and ends, I feel my phone start to vibrate in my pocket. I pull it out and see it's my daughter calling me, probably to ask me to pick something up for her. I press the green button and bring the phone to my ear, and before I can even say anything, all I can hear is screaming and crying. I just left the shopping cart where it was, sprinting out of the store and back towards my car. Then as I was driving back to the apartment, I tried calming her down and getting her to tell me what was happening. She just kept saying, I don't know. I think someone shot a gun. My next question was, are you hurt? And when she replied, yes, I just tossed my phone down, got both hands on the wheel, and then started speeding back towards our apartment.
Want to know what I want for Christmas?
Allie.
I want to ride Belle.
Minutes later, I was only 2 blocks from my apartment when I saw flashing lights in the rearview mirror. I felt sick as I realized that I was faced with 2 distinct choices: run from the cops to get to my daughter, and risk getting myself shot or something when I jumped out of my car to run inside, or pull over, try my best to explain the situation, and temporarily condemn my daughter to her fate. To some, that might seem like a real conundrum, but to a parent, absolutely zero thought is involved in the decision-making. You help your child, there are no other options. I never thought that I'd ever get into an actual police chase in my life. Aside from a few parking tickets, I've always walked the line and stayed firmly on the right side of the law, so the fact that I was gunning it away from a cop car, praying they'd understand my reasoning, it was surreal in the extreme. I raced the 2 blocks back to my apartment, skidded into my driveway, then got out of the car with my hands in the air as the cops raced in behind me. I remember them jumping out too, taking cover behind their open doors, and pointing guns or tasers at me as I screamed at them, I'm so sorry. My daughter's in trouble. I couldn't stop. I can't stop. I kept repeating my story as one of the cops approached with his gun drawn, and I don't know if it was the tone of my voice or the look in my eyes, but all of a sudden, he stops and asks me where my keys are. Recognizing that he was giving me the benefit of the doubt, I told him that my front door keys were attached to my car keys and that they were still in the ignition of my car. He told his partner to keep an eye on me. Then he grabs my keys after shutting off my engine, then basically runs into my apartment to look for my daughter. That was a truly terrifying few minutes for me, because I had no idea what the cops were going to find. I didn't know if it was an intruder still in the apartment, or if all they were going to find was my daughter's body, and waiting for the answer with a gun pointed at me felt like an eternity. When the cop emerged moments later, leading my daughter out of the apartment, it was probably the purest, most overwhelming sense of relief I've ever felt. But when I saw that she had blood all over her, I begged the cops to call an ambulance to get her to the hospital. And the one cop who went inside said that he'd wait with her until the EMTs arrived, but the other guy was going to have to arrest me for fleeing a traffic stop. The cop was just doing his job. I know that. There's no way that he could have just let me go for starting a...
First of all, technically he wasn't fleeing a traffic stop because first of all he didn't get stopped. Secondly, I didn't see a speed sign there. Did you see a speed sign, Adrian? Exactly. It's like, yes, you had your lights on, but there could have been one, you were pulling me over, or two, what could have been happening?
One, he was in panic mode because of the daughter and everything.
Okay, that had nothing to do with it, considering panic mode could literally happen to anyone who's being pulled over. It's A.
That's just my thought.
Yeah, well, that is a good thought. Yeah, but it's like, number one, it could have been A, he was getting pulled over, or B, the police car was trying to go somewhere else with their lights on. So, you know.
That could be it too, yeah.
Yeah, so... And technically, fleeing from a traffic stop, in order to flee from a traffic stop, you would have to be pulled over, and then the driver would have to drive off after, like, during a traffic stop. He didn't stop yet.
A car chase, no matter how small it was.
Technically, it would be evading a police officer. That you would be arrested for evading a police officer, not for fleeing a traffic stop.
But it gave me dignity of just sitting me in the back seat of the squad car while it was parked across the street. Me getting arrested like that obviously made the situation even more distressing for my daughter, who had no idea why I was being held in the back of that squad car. But after she calmed down a little, one of the cops checked her injuries, then came over to tell me that she'd be okay, and that all her injuries were basically superficial. I asked him if it was 100% sure because my daughter had mentioned something about a gunshot when she called me, but the cop was able to assure me that she had no gunshot wounds, just a bunch of glass cuts to her upper arm and lower cheek. Again, I felt this overwhelming sense of relief, and for the second time that day, I found myself fighting back tears. A few minutes later, the EMTs showed up. Then after a quick examination of my daughter's injuries, she was driven to the hospital to get stitches. That was my cue to be taken to jail, but I was out on bail in just a few hours later after being given a court summons for fleeing the traffic stop. I immediately drove over to the hospital to pick up my daughter, who by then had a line of stitches along the worst of her wounds, which ran along her jawline. On the way back to our apartment, I got her to tell me exactly what had happened to cause her injuries, as obviously I still didn't understand how a gunshot had caused glass injuries. She said that she was making a sandwich and getting a glass of water, and had just placed the glass of water down in front of her on our little breakfast nook when it suddenly exploded. The explosion of glass was what caused the cuts on her arm and face, and right around the same time, She said that she had heard a loud bang coming from the apartment next door. Now, without boring you with too much detail, the layout of our kitchen is such that there's no way someone could have actually aimed a shot at her. But when I got back home and spoke to the cops who were still there, all became clear. They had already arrested our neighbor in the apartment next door, as the angle of the bullet holes in our kitchen showed exactly where the shot had come from. Apparently, the guy was drunk, or at least some other kind of intoxicated, and had decided to clean his guns without checking if they were actually loaded or not. He admitted to the whole thing, and apparently broke down crying in the cop car, thinking he'd seriously hurt someone after hearing all the screaming. He caught a reckless endangerment charge, which he was eventually convicted of, but he didn't see any jail time for it. He only has his guns confiscated after receiving a suspended sentence and mandatory substance counseling, and call me biased, but I think that he should have been handed a whole lot more. Me, on the other hand, I pled no contest to the traffic stop thing, but after the judge learned of the circumstances and how they were related to the other guy's reckless endangerment charge, I only had to pay $500 mandatory fine instead of having my license suspended for a year on top of that. According to my attorney, it was about as good a deal as I was ever going to get, as obviously no one is above the law, and the cops take fleeing traffic stops very, very seriously. In the end, it was clear to both me and my daughter that we had both dodged a major disaster, and it was something that I was very thankful for. But just as
Good change of words, because he was about to say, dodged a bullet.
I'm comfortable with giving my daughter some space and privacy in her life, the anxiety of losing her somehow came back 100 times stronger, and it wreaked havoc on my mental health. For the first time in my life, I actively sought out therapy on my sister's recommendations, and I have to admit that weekly sessions put a serious dent in my paranoia and overprotectiveness. I never turned out to be one of those hands-off, carefree parents. I'm still not, even now that she's moved out and living in some fancy apartment downtown. I'll always be her father. Not a thing in the world is going to change that, but this also means that until the day that I'm in the dirt, I'll always be scared.
I'm a 15-year-old female, and I live with my parents and my older brother. He's 18 years old. My parents work till late evenings, and most of the times I'm home alone. Sometimes my brother is home with me. My family used to take care of a mentally disabled person by giving him food, old clothes, and some other things. Sometimes he used to behave perfectly like a normal person. He was not that ill that I knew of. I knew him since I was 10. He had no family, and he used to live with the people that he was working for. Basically cleaning and such. One evening...
Alright, I'm gonna stop the recording there, guys, because I am getting a little tired, and I just want to talk to my fiance for a little bit on the phone until he needs to fall asleep or something. So I love you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. And go subscribe to... What's your channel, babe?
Adrian something YouTube.com.
Go ahead and go subscribe to Adrian. He has 3 subscribers already. All 3 are by my YouTube channel. By my 3 YouTube channels, the ASMR. The newest one, which is Adam and Adrian and Buddy the Dog, Family YT, which is our family YouTube channel now, and my main YouTube channel. And tell them what's going to be happening tomorrow.
is going to be doing a Ghost Pepper challenge.
No, not me, you. I said, what are you doing tomorrow? Like, what video are you doing tomorrow? He's doing his first ever video on his newest channel.
I'm going to be doing a Minecraft Let's Build.
So, don't miss out. I will actually do a video shouting out his channel and a link to his YouTube channel, so that way you guys can go ahead and follow and subscribe to him as well. And I'll see you all in the next video. Love you guys. See you in the Ghost Pepper video. Bye!
That was really fun.
Hold on. And don't forget, I need 1,500,000 likes, and I will do the Ghost Pepper video, because they are so hot, and I'm really willing to risk these musical pipes to get damaged for your guys' entertainment. So I need 1,500,000 likes. Thank you.